Today we're looking at another form of cookery, grilling as a method of cooking. And grilling gives us a beautiful flavour in whatever food we grill. It develops the browning and the flavour that is so distinct with a steak or vegetables that we grill. We'll be looking at the equipment that we can use for our grilling, and here we have a French grill or a bar grill, and we need a nice large gas flame underneath that to create a very high cooking temperature so that we can seal up the meat. And I'll talk about that some more in a moment. We can also use our grill pan, which is bar, as the bars in there, and that's so that the food, the meat, is raised up off the heat source, because grilling as a method is the food is cooked by indirect heat or radiant heat. So the steak will sit on top of the bars and the heat will be generated up from underneath and will brown and cook our food. For that reason we need a very high heat source. We can also use our barbecue, and that is another form of grilling, and that works really well when we have that high heat source. The steak is being sealed over high heat, and I'm going to turn the steak at 90 degrees to get a nice crisscross bar pattern on the steak so that it'll look good on the plate. Now the first side has been sealed, so I can now turn the steak over and seal the second side before the steak cooks through. And again, we've turned the steak at 90 degrees to get a crisscross pattern on the other side. The steak is almost sealed up now. You can see the brown colour, and that indicates that the outer surface, the cut surface of the steak has been sealed. To let that steak cook through, because I've got a nice thick porterhouse steak here, I need to turn the heat down once it's sealed on both sides to allow the steak to cook through. The steak this thick takes quite a while to cook right through, and we have to give it that time to cook and let the heat pass through the meat. The heat travels or moves through the meat by the molecules on the outside getting hot and then transferring the heat onto the next molecule and the next molecule and the next molecule. So this takes time. We can't hurry that process. We need to allow enough time for the heat to move through the steak to cook it to the degree we want the steak cooked at. So now I will turn that heat down and allow the steak to finish cooking at a slightly lower temperature so that it doesn't burn on the outside, and the steak can cook through to medium rare or medium, and it won't be too brown, too black on the outside. When you think the steak is ready to the degree of doneness that you require, whether it's rare or medium or well done, we can check by the feel of the meat. And as a guide, if you gently touch the muscle of your thumb, there is rare. Just touch the first finger, not pressing hard. You've got medium and well done. This gives you an indication as to how the steak is cooked. The steak is cooked through to the stage, to a rare stage, which is what I want. The steak is now resting, because when the steak's cooking, the high temperature forces all those juices into the centre of the steak, and we need to allow it to rest for approximately half the time that the steak took to cook. This will allow those juices to be absorbed back into the meat, and when we put the steak on our plate and cut it, the juices won't run out on the plate. They'll be held within the meat. The resting time also allows the steak to relax, and it will be better eating when we serve it up. Now the steak is cooked through to the desired degree of doneness there. It's medium rare and it's well rested, so we've got a lovely piece of steak to serve on our plate.